Okay, then if it's working, and now I can hear. Okay, I see now. Okay, there we go. There we go.
A clap. 1, 2, 3. That's good.
That was it. Did you see how intensely I was?
Yeah, I was looking at you and I was like, oh, look at the elbow.
Eye contact, elbow contact.
It is harder to be doing the high five. You know, we could always go back to a good old fashioned clap.
I just like the high five. I think it merges the energy.
Emerges the energy.
Hi, I'm Maggie.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're sisters.
In law.
We're watching Suits one episode at a time.
It's a show so nice, I've watched it twice.
And a show so great, I'm watching it late.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Maggie's never seen it and Amanda's obsessed. They don't wear fancy suits, they are casually dressed. They are sisters-in-law and they got a show about a law firm drama that aired a few years ago. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans.
This is season 3, episode 8, Endgame, which is
what I think Rachel and Mike are.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, I wonder if she peeped ahead and decided to just make up the word Endgame.
No, people say that. I was like, no.
I want to be your Endgame. I want to be your first string. That's Taylor Swift. That was really off. I'm gonna need that voice lesson lady to help me.
You are gonna need Betsy from down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Endgame. I was surprised this isn't all about Rachel and Mike. In fact, their relationship barely comes up in this.
This is another lazy name, though. Not that I don't like the name or the word Endgame and the idea of it, but it's just kind of like, is it though? Like we're right in the middle of the season.
Yeah,
it should just be called Middle Game.
It is Middle Game. Wait,
right?
Do you want to do your brief?
Oh yeah, let me do my brief. Just as a reminder, we mixed it up a little bit this week and last week. Maggie was in charge of briefs. This week I'm in charge of them, and by being in charge, I've acted very out of character, and I've just written some real dumpster fires of a brief.
I doubt it.
These are like briefs that you probably should throw away.
But they're your comfort briefs.
Yeah, and you're like, and every time you wash them, you're like, I can't believe you guys made it one more time. All right. After an episode of people being thrown into mirrors and cat court, we experience 48 minutes of regular old lawyering. It's hard to tell if Cameron Mike Brady Dennis's hair is longer than the lies and the tall tales everyone is telling around PDS. Mike calls in a favor with Clifford Danner and takes a risk it will work on Cameron Dennis. And Harvey makes a risky choice with Cameron Dennis to get Ava's murder charges dropped by using Darby as the scapegoat. Harold Gunderson is Gundersing for some heads, and he's after Louis Litt's bald one on a silver platter.
His bald head versus Cameron Mike Brady Dennis's full head of luscious locks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Harold Gunderson's also got a nice mop on his head.
Yeah, I like that little mop. Mm-hmm. I love Harold Gunderson.
Yeah.
This episode.
You had mentioned that you would, if you were doing press, if you were in charge of press for Suits, you'd be like Harold Gunderson out on the road.
I would for sure. He would be viral on TikTok. Like right now.
Oh my gosh.
I'd be like, okay, all of our Suits marketing is Gunderson.
We should find out where he is.
We should.
I wonder if he'd want to be on the podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
That switches it up.
You
look good, girl. You look good, girl. Keep doing that yoga.
I'd tea for that.
All right, kick us off, Maggie.
Okay, storyline 1. This is the wrap-up of Colonel and the Oil Queen,
yes.
Ava Hessington. Mm-hmm. Harvey has just thrown, in the previous episode, Stephen into a mirror.
Ended up in the mouth of somebody in Cape Town, South Africa,
yes,
if you listened to our last episode.
It was a huge debacle.
Yeah.
Harvey is now in the office getting his wounds nursed by Donna, and he's like, Stephen has it worse. Mm-hmm. And Donna's like, was this about me?
And he goes, this was not a duel, it was a fight.
We're not like knights dueling for your honor.
He kind of like put her in place.
Literally so pissed at this guy who slammed him into a mirror, and it's absolutely not about him slamming your body into a bed. Stephen betrayed them all. And Donna's just like so mad at herself for not seeing this, because that's what Donna does. She sees everything. She knows everything, but she had no idea Steven was...
Yeah.
She was blinded by the dick.
Blinded by the dick.
Wrapped up like a douche.
That's great.
It works.
Wow, blinded by the dick.
Blinded by the dick.
Did we find an episode name this soon?
I think so.
Okay.
No.
Not too dirty.
So dirty. So Mike sees Harvey is all beat up. Mm-hmm. He does not know what happened in the bathroom, and they're not going to talk about it.
Nope.
They also can't tell Ava yet that they know that Steven has...
Because they don't have proof.
Right.
Like, they have to have the proof.
Right. But they kind of do.
Yeah.
They know for sure. So Harvey is like, I'm just going to go get a good night's sleep, and then I'll find out the whole story in the morning. Mm-hmm. And Mike's like, how are you going to find out the whole story? Well, cut to Darby in the morning.
Yeah. Darby says he didn't know this, but he's been trying to fix it.
Yeah, and then Jessica's like, you never asked because you never wanted to know.
Oh, man. I also heard something recently the other day from someone I work with. I was having a one-on-one. He was in the military, and he said something about you never want to be the highest ranking officer with a piece of information. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. He's like, I'm so used to, like, when I find something out, I need to make sure I tell somebody above me to cover myself. Because if I'm the highest ranking officer with something and it comes back on me...
Then you're the owner. The monkey's on your back.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of love that.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
This is too hot a gas for me.
Yeah.
Pass it up. And then that kind of also keeps things going chain of command.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Escalating if it needs to.
Yeah.
Interesting. Then it cuts to Steven, who is still in his office, and he's locked out of his computer, and his phone doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Donna comes in, and she goes, I cut you off.
Yeah. She's like standing in the back. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah. And she's like, you make me sick.
Yeah.
And he tells her this is just the name of the game. He's like, oh, you think what I did was bad? You think I'm a murderer? Well, look at your designer shoes and, like, look at the cases that Harvey does and, like, look at all of this. Everyone's bad. Everyone's a bad guy. That was my British accent.
Right. It's excellent.
And then she fires him. She's like, I actually didn't just cut you off. You're fired.
And he said Darby would never let that happen. And she goes, Darby sent your pink slip an hour ago.
Ding, ding, ding.
Pulling out the pink slip.
Mike and Harvey are then like, okay, we gotta problem solve this.
Right.
We can go to the Colonel and Cameron Dennis with the truth off the stand. So tell them that Steven did it, but do that off the stand.
Uh-huh.
And there's no way that they can get into this hotel, though, where the Colonel is staying.
Right.
Especially dressed as lawyers.
Yeah.
So Harvey sends Mike to go to the Colonel in the hotel, and he's going to go talk to Cameron, Mike Brady Dennis.
Yeah.
Mike dresses like a weed dealer to get into the hotel.
Is that a weed dealer?
He dresses like he dressed before he was a lawyer.
Sure.
And he was a weed dealer.
So I look like an improviser or just like a
Yeah,
person?
you always look like... Anytime you're not dressed like business Amanda, you're improviser Amanda. In my eyes, because that's how I know you.
That's fair.
Although I will say, yeah, because he was weed dealer Mike. Because before he was weed dealer Mike, he was parcel courier Mike. And then he wore those gloves. And
he really went through a glove thing.
He went through the glove thing. So he's not wearing the gloves, so he must be weed dealer Mike. Yeah. Anyways, he's in casual clothes. Mike makes it all the way up to the Colonel's hotel room. But Colonel security's not going to let him in. And Mike's like, come on, let me in. I'm a lawyer. And he's like, dressed like that?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, no, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a complete fraud. I'm the Colonel's nephew. Security looks at the Colonel, looks at Mike, and it's like,
And he goes, on his mother's side.
and then he...
Or cousin. Is it nephew or cousin?
Oh, does he say cousin? Something like that.
Yeah,
What's a nephew if not a cousin?
That's true.
And then he's like, oh, wait, why don't you just show this Colonel this picture of my uncle Steven with him?
Right.
And that's when Mike gets let in to talk to the Colonel.
Yeah.
And he's like, listen, Cameron Dennis is going to cancel your deal. And there's kind of this thing like, who's scarier here?
Yeah, and the Colonel's like, do you think that you're the scariest person that I've ever sat across from? And Mike's like, I know you're not scared of me. But he said that he is going to cancel this deal. Like, you actually need to listen to me, even though I know I'm not the scariest person there. Mike realizes that the Colonel is not actually protecting Steven out of principle. He just wants to be protected.
Yeah, so
it's not because of his, like, undying loyalty to Steven from their one semester playing rugby together.
Right.
It's like he just generally doesn't want to die.
Yeah. So that's good to know his motivation. in this moment, I'm like, oh, they're going to get him. They're going to figure it out. They're going to get the Colonel to switch. Meanwhile, Harvey and Cameron Dennis are meeting on the street. Cameron says, I don't need your help, and you wouldn't be here if you didn't need mine. But Harvey's like, no, it's like a man-to-man thing. I'm here to talk to you because you want to put the real bad guy away, Cameron Dennis. And Cameron's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I don't know. It's like, maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Right.
But it has to be who's going to trust first. Mm-hmm. Is Cameron Dennis going to trust Harvey, or is Harvey going to trust Cameron Dennis? So they just have to put a lot of faith in each other.
Mm-hmm. They also have to hope that one of them isn't lying like the other. Kind of like with Lewis and Nigel, when it's like, who's going to be off of your redundancy list? Like,
yes.
It's kind of that same thing. It's like, I'm going to trust you. Do you trust me? But they also have a history.
Right.
It's interesting.
So then we cut to inside the courthouse, and Donna is there. She wants to see Stephen on the stand. Mm-hmm. She wants to see Harvey obliterate Stephen. And Harvey's like, I'm not actually going to put him on the stand. And she's like, oh.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Put him on the stand.
Put him on the stand.
Sarah Slay.
But then the Colonel is on the stand.
Yep.
And the Colonel is saying Ava Hessington did it. On the stand, he's sticking by Ava Hessington's story.
Yes.
And he says, if what I say to you proves to be a lie, you will send me back home where I will be dead within minutes.
Yeah.
Which is very convincing to a jury.
Yeah, I mean, if the jury doesn't like that,
I mean, I bought it.
Yeah.
And I know the truth.
And you weren't even on their jury.
And I wasn't even on that jury.
Yeah. So then we cut to like behind, not like behind the chambers, but like in one of the rooms.
It's a recess.
It's a recess, yeah.
And Stephen bursts in to Harvey's little conference
room
to interrupt. And he says he will 100% point the finger at Ava if the Colonel points a finger at him. It's a little like, you point a gun at me, I point a gun at this person. It's the very triangular.
And Harvey says, Jessica does not respond well to threats. He goes, this is not a threat. This is a warning. Consider yourself warned.
Doink.
And walks out. Then we cut back to the courtroom. And Harvey decides to call a rebuttal witness, one Mr. Stephen Huntley.
Which he had just told Donna he's not going to do, but then Stephen Huntley said, don't call me up there. And then he's like, well, then I'm going to call you up there.
Yeah, don't do something, because I'm like, don't tell me that, because I'm going to do it despite you.
Yeah, exactly.
This is where Harvey and I are going to get along.
Mm-hmm. Stephen is pleading the fifth. He's declining to testify on almost everything that Harvey is asking him.
Yeah.
So the judge calls for the attorneys to approach, where Harvey tries to get Cameron to see that Stephen is guilty. So he's trying to do this, like, trust me, see, I'm serving
I'm trying
this
to give
guy.
I'm trying to give you the guilty person right here.
Yeah, look, here he is. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm not going to tell you, but, like, look. Cameron Dennis debates asking questions. He's like, should I ask questions? And then he does. He asks Stephen if pointing the finger at someone else is a good strategy as an attorney.
Yeah.
It's like Cameron Dennis knew Stephen was a part of it almost, but I guess he didn't know. But he
doesn't completely know if he can. Like, here's the thing: they technically, Stephen was part of the firm during all of this, so it's also like, are they actually in cahoots? And then they're trying to screw me. Like, nobody knows who's telling the truth.
Exactly,
yes.
Exactly. So Cameron wasn't fully convinced by Harvey, so that's why he decided to stick with the Ava Hessington. He's still going to go after Ava Hessington.
Yeah.
So afterwards, Mike and Ava are debriefing the trial, and this calculated risk to call Stephen to the stand did not pay off. It just made her really upset. Yeah. It made everyone look bad, and she's very mad. And on the street, Harvey and Cameron confront each other, and Cameron was not convinced. He's like, I'm doing my job. Lawyers killing people, that's a hell of a firm you've got your name on.
Ooh.
So Edward Darby then meets with Jessica, and while he's meeting, Ava Hessington walks in, and she goes, did you keep this from me? And he's like, I didn't know until it was too late. Slap. She slaps him in the face. She doesn't slam him into a mirror, but she does slap him in the face.
Takes a note from Donna.
Yes. These ladies and their slaps.
Yeah.
It was actually Ava's father who Darby had an affair with, which I didn't realize. I thought it was her brother or something.
I couldn't remember if it was her brother or her father.
Yeah, okay. But it was, so he's like, so he retells the story.
Which is interesting because Ava looks almost older than Darby.
Oh, you think so? I
Or
feel like they
close
look
to it.
similar age.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy
her
her
dad
father
was having an affair with someone who's like her age.
Yeah.
Because they pretended to be together.
Yeah.
But this all comes out, and Darby's like, she's family, and he needs Jessica's help. He tells her to put aside her anger, and he feels really genuine here.
Yeah. Jessica is at Harvey's apartment. You noted that you thought it might be Donna that would be there.
Yeah, like he opens the door, and it kind of looks like Donna hair, because it's in the shadows.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what are you doing here?
And it's all Jessica.
And then it flips around, and it's Jessica.
Yeah. She has a bottle of wine that Harvey gave her when he took over for Daniel. And so she decided to bring it over because this is an emergency and they have to talk. She is still mad at Harvey for betraying her, but would rather forgive him. And he says, I'm sorry. And she goes, well, you didn't kill anybody. And she's sorry too. So Edward convinced her because Harvey is Jessica's family and that she has an idea because he's like, but we're in the middle of a murder trial. And she just kind of looks at him and he goes, but you have an idea. And then they sip some wine in sync.
Yes, the same time.
At the same time. Synchronized wine drinking.
I have a prediction about this line, you didn't kill anybody, that I just want to flag.
Okay.
Just so you know. I'm saying it here so that people remember that Jessica said, well, you didn't kill anybody. And I'll come back to it in Prediction Town.
Okay.
I'm shipping that off to Prediction Town.
You're gonna ship it off? You're gonna, like, before, like, when you're buying a souvenir somewhere and then you ship it home, like I did that one time from London?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awful.
But this one I know is going to make it in time, and it was reasonably priced. So now there's a new plan. Harvey shows up at Mike's apartment. He's a little tipsy. He's been drinking a little bit with Jessica. And he says, Mike, you need to go see Cameron to remind him about the time that he hit the wrong nail.
Yeah. He's talking about Clifford Danner.
He's talking about Clifford Danner.
So he goes to see Clifford, who is working at the diner.
Is this the diner that Harvey and Donna were at?
No, different diner.
Different diner.
Lighting's different, I can tell.
Okay.
I can't confirm this. I'm just guessing.
No, that's good. That sounded so confident. I bought it.
Yeah. Mike needs Clifford. He needs a favor from Clifford. And he needs him to talk to Cameron Dennis. And he's like, hell no. I'm not talking to that dude. He says, you don't owe Harvey, but you do owe me because I broke the law to get you out of jail. Mike broke the law.
Yeah, Mike has broken a lot of laws, but he never put...
No, Mike breaks a lot of laws, but when somebody else does, he tells them they got to come clean.
Yes, exactly. That's his
That's
MO.
what we call a hypocrite, hypocrite, hypocrite. That's what we call a hypocrite,
and his name is Mike Ross. So the next time we see Clifford, next scene, Cameron is walking up, and Clifford and Mike are there.
He's here to tell him who he is.
Yeah, there he is.
And then Cameron's like, no, you're not, or whatever. And Clifford's like, you don't have a choice. And then they just stand there. And then
Outside.
Cameron, Mike, and Freddie Dennis just does this like little lip quiver, like, well, you got me.
You got me.
And they just sort of stand there outside, just like randomly outside. Like this wasn't in a weird place.
Like he has so many ways he could go to avoid this conversation.
Yeah, this to me was so funny. I think you had just showed up because I was watching this late. And I was like, this is so this is so dramatic right here.
It was very dramatic. But I guess they kind of showed Cameron who he is.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. We don't get to see the conversation. But we do get to see Ava with Darby, Spector, and Pearson. The entire firm names up there. Darby's like, Ava, you need to be on the stand. And then Cameron comes bursting in. And he's like, let me tell you what's behind door number 1.
Because Harvey says Cameron doesn't actually go all the way through. He settles.
Yeah, this is the settlement offer.
Harvey learned it.
Yeah, he learned how to settle. You don't want to go to trial. And what's behind door number 1 with Cameron Dennis's game show of offers is 8 years in prison.
Whammy.
Gonna give you 8 years. Take your money.
That's literally it.
I'll take that.
Jessica's like, listen, Harvey, that's a good offer. He's got Ava.
Yeah.
We're gonna lose. And Harvey's like, no, I'm not going to lose to that man. And Ava says, your blood fuel with that man is what put a target on my back in the first place.
Yes. She's right.
She is right. And that is a blood feud is exactly it. Like how we talked about if we have a lawyer, we need to know who they have feuds with.
Yeah. Who's your beef with?
Yeah. Where's your beef?
Where's your beef?
This is their blood. And
Where's
blood
the
feud.
beef?
Where's the beef?
Yep.
It's with Cameron Dennis. And Darby's like, I'll testify because I got you into this and I screwed the pooch. So he's going to share that he was over this. Ava had no idea.
Right.
And Harvey's like, no one's going to believe this.
Right. He's like, you've got to sell this to Cameron Dennis.
Yeah, we got to sell this for a plea deal.
So where are we again? Another friggin' bathroom. And we're at like the courthouse. This is not a nice bathroom.
Yeah, this is a totally different
bathroom. Harvey comes in and says, hey, here's what I've got. We're going to make this deal. You're going to let Ava off. In exchange, Darby's going to testify that Stephen Huntley is the one that ordered these murders. You're going to give Darby 5 years of probation, and he will testify at Stephen Huntley's murder trial.
Mm-hmm. So now they've scapegoated Stephen.
Yes, because he knows that he needs a win, and he needs, Cameron Dennis needs a head.
Yes.
And it's all about the sure thing. And this is a sure thing if we have Stephen Huntley, because you have a respectable lawyer doing it. Because he said, Harvey's like, you're so close with Ava, but you're not actually sure if you're going to get it. And you're going to get it if we put Stephen Huntley on the stand. Because he did it.
Because he actually did it.
He actually ordered these murders.
The Colonel is a bad witness because he has nothing to lose.
Yes.
Edward Darby is a great witness because he
has a lot to lose. He's already going to be on probation. Yes.
Cameron, Mike Brady Dennis with that great hair just looks at him and says, drop the paperwork. Harvey wins.
Yeah, Harvey wins. But also, Harvey wins, but he makes Stephen feel like he's winning, too.
Makes Cameron feel like
makes Cameron feel like he's winning. Yes.
So then we see Stephen in the hotel bar, and Donna comes in wearing pants, which I haven't seen her in pants, I don't think.
Has she worn them once before?
Maybe. I've never noted her pants, but it was very noticeable that she is wearing the pants in this
situation.
Scene. Mm-hmm. She's like, I thought a lot about what you said.
And maybe you're not as bad as you said you were. Mm-hmm. You're actually a lot worse.
Boom. And then she steps to the side.
And 8 FBI agents walk in.
And Stephen's like, fuck.
He says, I meant it when I said I didn't mean to hurt you.
And she says, I meant it when I said you make me sick.
Yeah.
You make me sick.
Yes.
And then they take him away.
She was blinded by the dick, and now he makes her sick.
Blinded by the dick. And now you makes her sick.
Okay, I'll take that.
Okay, so then we're back in the office. Cameron Dennis is having Darby sign all this paperwork just to get everything in motion, get this trial underway.
Uh-huh.
And oops, Darby's like, what about this little piece right here? And it's a piece that says he cannot practice law in the United States. And then Jessica, Mike, and Harvey are like, oopsies.
Oops. How did that get in there?
How'd that get in there? If that's true, then that means you can't be a named partner. You can't be a part of this firm.
We'll talk about your dissolution tomorrow.
Yeah, oops, so bad.
Yep.
Too bad, so sad. Cameron, so it's like, farts. But he signs it. Cameron's like, nice working with you.
And he's like, I never thought we'd be here. And Harvey's like, I knew this would happen. Because Cameron's also about putting guilty people away.
Right. Harvey played the man here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He knew that Cameron wanted to do the right thing and just needed to have a slam dunk.
Yeah. And then he says, are you sure you're not looking for another name partner? And they're like, goodbye. Cameron might
goodbye,
Brady
Cameron Dennis.
Because your haircut, it is not name partner.
It's so slick, though. It's so thick. So
it's
slick.
Thick. It's a thick-ass mop.
I like it. I mean, I like that salt and pepper hair.
Great.
I like it. But you're right. It's not...
I don't like the haircut.
Cameron Mike Brady Dennis would not fit at this firm.
No, he's a caricature of somebody.
He's a caricature of somebody.
Yeah.
Unlike Harvey Specter, who is not a caricature of an angry, smart attorney at all.
Mike and Harvey are at the elevator, and he's like, let's go celebrate. And Harvey's like, am I really the one that you want to celebrate? And Mike says, do you put out? And then Harvey goes, you should ask Rachel. And he's like, that's not cool. It was a funny joke. It was a funny joke.
But do you remember when I predicted that maybe Rachel and Harvey had something?
Yeah. The whole series is not ever.
This is maybe my fan fiction.
Your fan fiction?
My fan fiction is that was a direct reference to a time that Rachel and Harvey hooked up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my fanfic.
Okay.
So Harvey leaves, and he sees Donna in her pants on the street.
Yep.
And she's next to a car.
Yeah.
The car that
Harvey drives. And he asked her how it went today. She goes, as well as it could. And then he goes, why don't you take the car tonight? I feel like walking. So he let her have the car, the driver.
Yeah.
Take her home.
Which is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
This was a sweet way to wrap that part up. But it was not the only story.
It wasn't the only story. Second one.
Here,
You've got a nice title for it here.
Thank you. It's Harold Gunderson. And I called this storyline Gunderson's Blazing.
Love it.
Like
love
guns
it,
blazing.
love it, love it.
Thank you. So Lewis is with the new associates, and he's critiquing all of the work they've done under Nigel. He's like, everything is awful. You stink. This is horrible. Could have done this in my sleep. What are you doing? He has not changed at all. Mm-hmm. Nothing has influenced him. Mm-hmm. And Rachel's watching it like, what the fuck? They put you in charge. Like, all of these associates chose you over Nigel. They were literally the jury that said you should have the cat.
In cat court.
They picked you in cat court.
Yeah. You're displacing your anger.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, you're right, I am. I'm not mad at them.
I know who I'm mad at.
Harold Gunderson.
Yep.
Which was not who I was expecting him to be mad at.
I know.
Like, how can you be mad at Harold Gunderson?
Yeah.
So he is now sitting in Harold Gunderson's office at his desk. Mm-hmm. What a power move.
Yes.
He pretended to be Harold's uncle to get in, which is funny because later Mike pretends to be a cousin/nephew.
Right.
They're using the same strategies.
Yes.
And Harold's like, yeah, I volunteered to be a witness in mock trial.
He goes, I got subpoenaed. And Lewis goes, it was a mock trial. You didn't have to go.
But he provided the information.
Yeah.
The reason he got subpoenaed, quote unquote, is because he provided the information about it, right?
Right.
Like, there was no way Nigel would have even known
right.
if Harold hadn't said anything.
Right.
And this was all about being fired. And Lewis is like, me firing you was a business decision, not a personal decision.
And he's like, but you fired me in front of my best friend, which he met was Mike Ross.
And Lewis is like, oh. But at first I was like, oh, Lewis gets it. Like, he understands being embarrassed. Mm-hmm. But Lewis cannot stop being a dick sometimes.
No.
And he's like, well, let me tell you how that went down.
Yeah. Dang. So then Mike sees Harold on the street. And he's like, I thought you were my friend. I am. And is what Mike says. He's like, well, what the hell? Like, so Harold does not like being lied to. Is this the Harvey Specter Jr. origin story?
That's what I think.
Is that what you wrote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, Harold is like, what? Why did you lie to me? Like, why would you not tell me the whole truth if you were my friend?
Yeah.
That's not loyalty.
Yeah.
That's not friendship.
Yeah.
And I can just see him just, like, getting angry.
Yeah.
That kind of anger that you kind of need to be
a
high-powered attorney. And so what ends up happening, Harold ends up suing one of Lewis's clients because he's feeling used.
Yeah.
He's feeling used and abused. Mike used him. Lewis was a jerk. So Lewis shows up in Harold's office again. And he's like, oh, this nice photo of your mom. And Harold's like, you literally have pictures of yourself in your office.
Because he said the pictures you have in your office is a reflection of you as a person. And Harold goes, because you have pictures of yourself. He's like, exactly.
It's literally a reflection of me.
Yes.
It is me in my reflection of me.
Yeah.
But Harold's not intimidated, and Lewis is also not intimidated. But then Lewis is like, we're actually throwing out all of your suit things.
Yep.
And Harold's like, please, can we just keep 9?
Can I have paragraph 9?
Paragraph 9, that's all I want.
That's the only one he wants.
And this is like, sure, I'll let 9 survive to tell the other paragraphs.
What happens when they deal with Lewis Litt?
Yeah. And Harold's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And he goes, no, it's like they go and they tell the story of what happened.
Yeah. And he's like, paragraphs can't talk.
Yeah.
Oh, these paragraphs could talk.
And then Lewis calls him Carrot Top, and as he's leaving, Harold's like, Carrot Top is a great comedian.
And underrated, which that would be my first step before you. Who is your favorite comedian?
My favorite comedian? We saw Rory Scovel recently, and I laughed.
Harder than I've ever seen you laugh.
Very hard. It was great. He's so unhinged.
He really is.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that was top tier recent.
Yeah, for sure.
How about you?
It's for sure Rory Scovel.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of Rory Scovel since
forever. We
had him come to the festival in 2011 or something.
Yeah.
Literally every time he's in town, I will go see him.
It's a great show.
Watch everything I can of his stuff on YouTube. Like, I hate that I don't live in LA and can go see his improvised shows, because right now he's been doing this series of improvised stand-up shows. And he's coming up with new material, but he's doing a new set every single, because he's that great. He's insane. He truly is unbelievable. He also took a really cool role in Physical, the show on Apple with Rose Byrne.
I need to watch it. You've talked about it.
Which was like very different for him, but it was fun to watch him play that. And anyways, I will die on the Rory Scovel hill.
Now that's an underrated comedian.
Yeah, he's getting there.
Unlike Carrot Top.
Yeah, like he's not as commercial as Carrot Top. I don't know about Carrot Top if Carrot Top's any good anymore, but
Right.
Rory Scovel truly is like next
So
level
good.
and genius. Yes.
So we're back at the office. Harold's actually not caving. Paragraph 9 had a loophole in it. And so Harold has pulled something over on Lewis. Rachel's kind of telling him this whole thing. She's like, actually, like, this is a big mess because you let him keep paragraph 9 and now you've opened a can of worms. And Harold is on his way over. And Lewis, for the first time, looks a little nervous. Like, oops, I stepped in a pile of ants, kind of nervous.
Yeah.
And there he is, Harold's in Lewis's office. And he said, I don't need to wait in the conference room to knock your dick in the dirt.
Yeah. Which is so great to hear him say this.
So good.
Yeah.
I love Harold Gunderson talking about dicks and dirt.
Dicks in the dirt. He said that's from the Breakfast Club, and you and I both were like, do we remember that being from the Breakfast Club?
I don't remember that from the Breakfast, but maybe when it was said in the Breakfast Club, it sounded cooler or like more in character. And because Harold Gunderson saying it felt so out of character is why it really stood out, and I loved it.
I also don't remember the last time I saw the Breakfast Club. It's been so long.
It has been a
so
while.
there's actually no way I could confirm or deny if that's in it.
That's true. That's true. And then Lewis is like, oh, really? Because we're going to slam you with this, slam you with this, slam you with this, countersuit on this. And Harold says, great use of folders, Lewis.
Yeah, and there's like almost like a slip where he throws one of the folders and it kind of like slides, and Harold catches it and smiles and grins a little bit because it's not supposed to happen.
Yes.
And they kept it. And I'm like, good for you, Harold Gunderson, for catching that folder.
He's so confident.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I was like, this is the future Harvey Specter.
Yeah.
But then Lewis is like, actually, this is going to ruin your career.
Yeah.
This isn't about winning this trial. This is about ruining you as an attorney. You will never work again. This is about saving your firm from having you as an employee because you are such a waste of space.
Dude.
And that rattles Harold.
Big time.
And he gets up and he drops the suit eventually. So Lewis thinks he's won because Harold's dropped the suit. Rachel says, why do you hate Harold so much?
Yeah. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, what's the matter with you? And just like stares at him super seriously because this isn't about, technically Lewis has now won, but he's done it in a way that's so demeaning and demoralizing.
Yeah.
And Lewis is like, okay, this is why I've thought about it. This is why I don't like Harold. I couldn't climb a rope in gym class. I could never train Harold. And so Harold's a failure and Harold is triggering because I could never climb that ladder. I could never get him to climb the rope. And Rachel's like, no, dude, he is climbing the rope. He's succeeding. You're the one who's trying to drag him down.
Yeah.
So
Lewis says, send back his original offer and mark it as accepted and to never speak of this again. So he like basically lets Harold have it.
Right. He lets him win.
He lets him have the win. He takes the L. Because in the end, it's not that big of a deal.
I think this is going to be a big deal.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. Since we were there, I was wondering if it would be hard for you to just take a step out of where we are now and take a step into Prediction Town.
Well, thank goodness we're so close.
We are so close.
I don't even have to transfer.
You don't have to get on a transfer. Like, we're literally here.
Yeah, we're here. We're in Prediction Town. Welcome.
Yes, welcome.
And I didn't actually write this down, but I did. Oh, no, I did write it down.
Okay.
I said Harold Gunderson will be back. I think he will not go away softly and quietly. I think he will show Lewis who is boss because Lewis was nice to him by letting him win this case, essentially, and not going after his career.
Right.
And I think he's going to teach Lewis a lesson because anytime Lewis like starts to be a little soft, it backfires on him. He gets a cake for Mike that says, welcome to Team Lit, ends up in the trash. He's letting associates off on the weekend, having a good time. He sees Harvey getting a hug from the client that Lewis won the case for.
Right.
So I think that this is not going to work out. I think Harold's going to be back. I think Harold's going to get stronger. I think he's going to get more confident. We saw little glimpses of it. And I think this is ultimately going to be, you don't want to mess with Harold Gunderson.
No, you don't.
And he could have, like, Gunderson is such a good name for, like, an attorney commercial.
For a law firm.
A law firm. Gunderson and Gunderson.
Yeah.
That's what Jessica Pearson should have done. It should have been Pearson and then a mirror and then Pearson again.
A mirror.
Yeah. Okay. And then I think in the next episode it's going to open with Darby being taken down off the wall. So it'll just be Pearson. ...
Oh God, more hole in the wall, hole in the wall, hole in the wall,
Spectre.
hole in the wall,
That
hole in the
poor
wall.
wall. Oh my gosh.
Dude, they gotta keep a contractor like on retainer.
I know. In the last like decade, they've had to change it
So
many
much.
times. I also feel like it's going to be like business as usual because this episode felt kind of like getting things back. Like, cool. It's
It's like
been
a
little,
calibration. Like they had to like recalibrate.
Absolutely.
They needed a 3-day weekend.
Exactly. That's what this felt like. This was like the 3-day weekend episode.
Right.
And so I think it's going to start to feel good because when you come back to work after a 3-day weekend, you're like, yeah, I feel pretty good.
Right.
And then it's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it's Tuesday afternoon and you're like, what a freaking Tuesday this is.
Dude, we talked about those Tuesdays. Also, 3-day weekends are really great. And we're, this episode's coming out as we're coming off of a 3-day weekend. I'll tell you right now, the hardest thing is a 4-day week after a 3-day weekend. Because you've got to get 5 days worth of work crammed into 4.
Yes, no one slows down. Time doesn't stop for you. It's insane. Yeah, so I think that something's going to come totally out of left field. Like, I think I cannot even predict it. But something's coming and it's going to crash into the window and it's going to be like, what? Now everything shifts. And I think it's going to be like a new character or like a new case, something wild. Because we kind of wrapped up Hessington Oil.
Right.
I think Lewis and Rachel working together is great, but is Katrina going to come back from Barcelona? She needs to come back. I think she'll be back in the next episode. And then, can they make Mike a senior associate soon? Mike is in the room with Jessica and Harvey during all the major decisions of this episode. Feels like he needs a promotion.
Interesting.
And I think that would make Katrina mad.
Yeah.
Big
mad.
Shit. Donna, I think Donna's going to be dickless for a long time.
Oh, okay.
She was blinded by the dick.
Yeah.
She doesn't like being blinded. She likes being Donna. Donna is awesome. Donna on dick, not so awesome.
That's true. She gets too blinded.
Okay, I think that she's going to step right back into being Donna. Like, she's not so shaken by this. Like, she's immediately going to be like, got that off my chest. Now I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Kyle thinks that Harvey's going to have to give Donna a little pep talk. Like, it's over. We're good. Let's just sweep it under the rug. Like, he thinks Harvey's going to have to talk to her about it. I think no one's going to have to say anything to Donna.
She's got it.
She's got it.
Okay.
Okay, this line, you didn't kill anybody. Jessica says that to Harvey. Earlier in this season, Rachel's mommy says, as long as he didn't kill anybody, to Rachel about Mike when he came over for dinner.
That's true.
And if I learned anything about rugby, I learned that they plant things.
Yeah.
I think somebody's going to have to kill somebody.
Okay.
I think it's going to have to be an accident, maybe. But what they're doing is positioning it to be like
this is actually the worst thing, is somebody killed somebody.
Right. The only thing that would make you irredeemable is if you kill somebody. But what happens if somebody kills somebody?
I want to know who you think it could be.
Maybe that's what comes out of left field. I don't know. But I mean, I think it's either going to be Harvey or Mike. I feel like it would make more sense for Mike to kill somebody by accident because Mike has stumbled into this whole entire career without actually going to law school or finishing undergrad.
Yeah.
So it would make more sense for it to be like that. But now I'm wondering, maybe it's like Jessica. Maybe it's Rachel. Maybe it's someone else who's been saying it, like, as long as you don't kill somebody. And then Harvey and Mike are going to have to be like, it's okay if you kill somebody.
Dang. It's interesting that they think that the only thing that's not redeemable is if you kill somebody. Right. Like, they'll forgive people for anything unless you kill someone. And I'm like, I'll forgive people for anything, but I won't forget it. Because, like, the forgiving part gets it off of me, like,
right.
But it doesn't mean I'm going to forget it.
Yeah. Or want to be around you.
Yeah.
Like, there are
almost... You're not going to be redeemed in my eyes just because I forgave you, but it doesn't mean I like you or ever want to talk to you again.
Right.
Or
work with you.
Right. For sure don't want to work with you.
Yeah. They're like, oh, well, you didn't kill anybody, so sure, come on back into the fold. And it's like, hey, I don't know. Yeah. This feels like a little foreshadowing.
Yeah.
What if it's Donna?
Dude, some legit predictions.
Thank you.
I feel like at this point, you don't even have to run for mayor of Prediction Town.
But I will.
You will? Because you like a free and fair election?
I like a free, fair election. I like to campaign. I like to let people know I'm listening.
Yeah.
So I will still run unopposed.
Run unopposed as the mayor of Prediction Town. Maybe we will let you give your campaign speech next week.
Oh, good. I'll do it as part of one of my briefs.
Yeah, a campaign speech to be the mayor of Prediction Town.
It'll be tight, brand new.
Yeah, I love it.
Spanksy.
Ooh, Spanksy. Spanksy, hold it in. Don't pop it open like a can of biscuit dough.
What?
Like that joke about like when you're in Spanx, if somebody were to pop the Spanx if they busted, it'd be like popping open a can of biscuit dough. It's like, pop, here it comes. Pop, 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 pop. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review.
And if you don't have anything nice to say, you can eat it.
Please.
Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night.